Rejection is just redirection to better things. Rejection. Most people fear it, avoid it, and let it define them. But what if I told you rejection isn't the end of the road, it's the beginning of a better one? Every time life shuts a door in your face, it's not denying your destiny, it's directing your focus. That no you cried over might just be the not yet that saves you from settling. Rejection isn't proof you're not enough. It's evidence you're being positioned for something greater, something aligned with your purpose, not your comfort. And when you stop seeing rejection as punishment and start recognizing it as protection and preparation, you won't just bounce back, you'll rise higher, think bolder, and walk straighter into everything you were truly made for. Rejection is not a wall. It's a divine detour sign pointing you toward purpose. Rejection, that sharp sting in your chest when the deal falls through, the opportunity closes, or the relationship ends. For most people, rejection feels final. It feels like failure, like a verdict that says you're not good enough, not talented enough, not chosen, not worthy. But the truth is, rejection is not a wall meant to block you. It's a divine detour sign, carefully placed to reroute you from what you thought was good to what is actually great. See, the problem isn't the rejection itself, it's how we interpret it. We've been conditioned to think a no is a curse, when in fact it's often a course correction. Life is not linear. Purpose is not found in a straight line. It's discovered through zigzags, roadblocks, and yes, rejections. Every rejection carries a hidden message. This is not your door. Keep walking. And those who understand this, those who embrace this truth, don't crumble when they're told no. They pivot, they adapt, and they trust the process. Think back to your own life. How many times have you looked back and said, thank God that didn't work out, that job you didn't get, that relationship that broke your heart, that opportunity you chased but never caught? It all felt like the end of the world at the time. But it wasn't the end, it was a redirection. And when you finally stepped into the right opportunity, into alignment with something greater than what you were chasing, you realized it all had to happen exactly the way it did. Because if you had gotten what you thought you wanted, you would have missed what you were truly meant for. Rejection often saves us from settling for something less than we deserve. It shields us from attaching ourselves to assignments that aren't aligned with our purpose. And once you start to see rejection as divine intervention, not personal failure, you begin to move differently. You stop chasing validation and start chasing vision. You stop begging for seats at tables that were never built for you, and you start building your own. Rejection reveals your identity more than it defines your worth. When you're rejected, the real you shows up. Are you the version of yourself that gives up easily, or are you the version that digs deeper, stands taller, and finds another way? Purpose is not found in comfort zones. It's forged in fire, in the very moments when life says no. And you decide to keep going anyway. Purpose is discovered not in applause, but in silence. Not when doors open easily, but when you keep knocking even when they don't. Because the truth is, most people never fulfill their purpose, not because they aren't gifted, but because they misinterpret rejection. They treat it as a sign to stop instead of a signal to pivot. They park in pain instead of pushing through it. They internalize the no instead of being ignited by it. Let me tell you this, the enemy of your destiny isn't rejection, it's resignation. It's the moment you decide that the pain of rejection is greater than the potential on the other side of it. That's where dreams die. But when you understand that rejection is a signpost, not a stop sign, you keep moving. You move with clarity, you move with courage, you move with conviction, and suddenly, what once looked like failure now looks like direction. It looks like preparation, it looks like growth, because here's another truth. Rejection doesn't just point you to purpose, it prepares you for it. Every no toughens your skin. Every closed door teaches you to knock louder, speak clearer, dream bigger. Rejection builds character, and character is the currency of purpose. Sometimes the worst rejection comes right before your biggest breakthrough. It's like the universe is testing you, asking, do you really want this? Are you really committed? Can you handle what you're asking for? Purpose isn't cheap. It will cost you, and part of the price is learning how to navigate rejection without folding. You've got to be able to hear no without letting it steal your vision. You've got to be able to face closed doors and still believe in the calling on your life. Because your value doesn't change based on someone else's inability to see it. You are not less because someone said no. That just means they weren't meant to say yes. And if they weren't meant to say yes, their no is actually your blessing. So stop fearing rejection, stop avoiding it, start respecting it, start expecting it, not as an obstacle, but as part of the process. When rejection comes, don't retreat or focus, don't panic, pivot. Ask yourself, what is this moment trying to teach me? Where is it trying to lead me? And what is this no? Making room for that I couldn't have imagined yet. Because you're not being denied. You're being directed. Directed to something bigger, bolder, and more aligned with who you are becoming. When you can grasp that, when you can live like every rejection is a divine detour, you become unstoppable. You stop depending on validation and start walking in vision. You stop living for acceptance and start living on assignment. And that, my friend, is when you become dangerous, not because life stopped saying no, but because you stopped needing the yes to move forward. Every no is a setup for a higher level yes that's aligned with your destiny. Most people hear the word no and immediately interpret it as defeat, a door slamming in their face, a dream denied, a destination delayed. But what if I told you that every no you've ever heard wasn't a denial at all, but a divine setup for a higher level yes? That the rejection you took personally was actually a necessary reroute designed to align you with something greater than you were even capable of imagining at the time. See, the problem isn't the no. The problem is your expectation that every door you knock on should open. But destiny doesn't operate like that. It's not a vending machine where you press a button and get what you want on demand. It's a refined process of alignment, timing, growth, and preparation, and the no is often a sacred instrument in that process. Because if you got every yes you thought you wanted, you would end up burdened with things that looked good but broke you down. That's why you've got to learn how to bless the no, just as much as you celebrate the yes. Let's get something straight. The universe, God, life, whatever you call that higher force, is not in the business of cruelty. It's not withholding to hurt you. It's withholding to elevate you. When you hear no, it's not the world rejecting you. It's your future protecting you. That job you didn't land, that wasn't just a loss. It was a lesson. That person who walked away, that wasn't abandonment. It was alignment. Because sometimes you've got to lose what you think you need so you can receive what's truly meant to transform you. The yes that's meant for you won't just open doors. It will open dimensions. It will pull out your purpose, stretch your vision, and expose you to impact far beyond what you would have settled for if life said yes too soon. Too many people quit after the first no. They internalize it. They shrink. They start to believe maybe their dream wasn't real, maybe they weren't called, maybe they should lower their expectations. But greatness is not given to the easily discouraged. It's reserved for those who can endure the silence between rejections and still show up like the answer is on the way. Your destiny isn't built on instant approval. It's built on faith under pressure. It's built on your ability to get turned down and still turn up. When life says no, it's checking your persistence. It's asking, do you believe in your vision enough to outlast temporary resistance? That's where most people disqualify themselves. Not because they're not talented, not because they're not gifted, but because they confuse delay with denial. Let me say it again, delay is not denial, it's development. You don't want a yes that you're not ready to carry. A premature yes can crush you, but the right yes, the one that comes after you've grown through the rejection, learned the lesson, and matured through the pain. That yes will launch you. That yes will elevate you. That yes will align with your assignment. Let me remind you of something else. Not every yes is a blessing. Some yeses are traps in disguise. Some yeses will drain you, distract you, and pull you out of position. That's why you should be grateful for the nos that felt like betrayal but were actually breakthrough, because sometimes God blocks what you want to preserve what you're called to. He closes doors not because you're not worthy, but because that room wasn't worthy of you. And when you try to force your way into places where your spirit doesn't fit, rejection steps in like a bodyguard and says, "Not here, not yet." That's not punishment, that's protection, that's divine orchestration. That's destiny doing its job, even when it doesn't feel like it. You don't need everyone to say yes. You just need the right yes. The one that unlocks purpose, multiplies impact, and accelerates your journey. And that yes often doesn't show up until you've been rejected enough times to refine your vision. Rejection sharpens you. It forces you to clarify what you want, why you want it, and whether it's in alignment with who you're becoming. Rejection tests whether you're chasing applause or assignment. And when you finally stop chasing validation and start walking in purpose, that's when the higher level yes shows up. Not just an opportunity, but a destiny, a lined door that only opens because you refuse to settle for less. The truth is, every no is a filter. It filters out what's not for you. It removes distractions. It redirects your energy. And if you embrace it, it will elevate your mindset to a place where you no longer panic over closed doors. You praise through them. Because you know that behind every no is a stage being set, a plan being formed, and a bigger yes being orchestrated. But here's the key. You've got to stay in the game long enough to receive it. You can't tap out just because life didn't move on your timeline. You can't abandon the process because the results didn't show up instantly. You've got to trust that every no is not wasted. It's working behind the scenes, reshaping your future, building your character, and preparing your platform. So the next time you hear no, don't retreat voice, don't see it as rejection, see it as redirection. Because that no didn't close your future, it protected it. That no didn't delay your destiny, it prepared it. That no wasn't the end of your story, it was the beginning of a better chapter, and when the right yes comes, after all the tears, the trials, and the tenacity, you'll look back and realize that the nos didn't break you, they built you, they led you, they positioned you, and they set you up to walk boldly into the life you were always meant to live. You don't lose when you're rejected, you level up when you respond with resilience. Rejection doesn't mean you've lost. No, real loss is when you let rejection define you, delay you, and derail you from your purpose. But when you choose to respond with resilience, something powerful happens. You don't just survive the no, you level up because of it. You come out sharper, stronger, and more aligned than you were before. See, rejection is never the final verdict unless you decide to stop showing up. It's not a ceiling, it's a catalyst, and how you respond in that moment separates the average from the exceptional, the temporary from the timeless, and the mediocre from the monumental. Most people get knocked down by rejection and stay down, licking their wounds and doubting their worth. But those who level up, the ones who rise, do so because they understand something foundational. Rejection is an invitation to rise, to evolve, and to grow into the next version of themselves. It doesn't block you from greatness, it builds the bridge to get you there. Let's be clear. Resilience isn't about pretending rejection didn't hurt. It's not about putting on a fake smile and bottling your emotions. Resilience is about acknowledging the sting, but choosing to turn that pain into fuel. It's about refusing to give your power to circumstances. It's about saying, yes, this door closed, but I'm still moving. Yes, I heard a no, but I'm still building. Yes, I got turned down, but I'm turning up. Resilience is not reaction, it's response, and response is where the power is. You see, your future isn't shaped by what happens to you, it's shaped by how you respond to what happens, and when rejection comes knocking, and it will, it's not there to destroy you. It's there to reveal whether you've built your life on quicks and or on vision, on external validation or on internal conviction. And let me tell you, when your foundation is strong, no rejection can shake your direction. The truth is, every person who ever did anything great, anything meaningful, anything that shifted culture or history, was rejected repeatedly, and yet they rose. They were turned down by publishers, overlooked by investors, dismissed by peers, laughed at by critics, but they kept going. Because rejection didn't reduce them, it refined them. It taught them not to depend on applause to move forward. It taught them that resilience was their true power. When the world told them no, they turned inward and found a deeper yes, and that yes became their fuel. That yes became their fire, and that yes made them unstoppable. If you want to level up, you have to stop letting rejection be your exit sign. You have to make it your training ground. Every time you get turned down, ask yourself, what is this moment trying to strengthen in me? Is it sharpening my vision? Is it challenging my ego? Is it building my patience, my character, my discipline? Because here's the truth, rejection is a mirror. It doesn't just show you what's not working, it reveals what needs to grow. It exposes your attachments, your assumptions, your expectations. And if you lean into that mirror with humility instead of bitterness, you'll come out better, not bitter. Rejection will always leave you with two options, retreat or rise. Shrink or stretch, break down or build up, and the decision you make in that space determines whether rejection becomes a wound or a weapon. If you choose to rise, rejection will be the forge that shapes your greatness. It will deepen your roots and expand your reach. Because what you build after rejection is always more resilient than what you had before. You learn to stop leaning on comfort and start leaning on calling. Think about it. Without rejection, most of us would stay comfortable. We'd keep doing what's safe, what's easy, what feels good in the moment. But rejection forces you to confront your limits and push past them. It demands that you get creative, that you dig deeper, that you upgrade your mindset. In fact, some of the greatest ideas, businesses, books, and movements were birthed not from approval, but from adversity. They were born in the silence after the door slammed shut. They were born in the moment someone said, "You're not good enough," and the person replied, not with words, but with results, because resilience doesn't need to scream. It doesn't need to announce itself. It simply shows up, works harder, grows wiser, and refuses to quit. Resilience means you stop seeing rejection as the enemy, and you start seeing it as an opportunity to sharpen your edge. Every rejection adds layers to your wisdom. Every no gives you deeper insight into what matters, what's real, what's worth fighting for. And most of all, it builds trust, not just in yourself, but in the timing of your journey. When you know how to weather rejection, you develop a confidence that isn't based on outcomes, but on endurance. And that kind of confidence, that's rare, that's powerful, that's magnetic. It can't be bought, borrowed, or faked. It's earned through the hard work of showing up again and again when the world gives you no reason to. So let me speak directly to you. The next time you're rejected, don't fall into the trap of self-pity. Don't spiral into shame. Pause, breathe, look that no in the face and say, "Thank you. Thank you for revealing where I need to grow. Thank you for redirecting me toward what's aligned. Thank you for preparing me for something bigger than I was even asking for." Then roll up your sleeves and get to work, not to prove them wrong, but to prove to yourself that you are still on assignment, still walking with vision, still committed to the next level of your evolution. Because in the end, you don't lose when you're rejected, you only lose when you stop. But when you keep going, when you rise in the face of no, when you press on with grit, grace, and growth in your spirit, you don't just recover. You level up, and you become the kind of person rejection can't stop, setbacks can't break, and doors can't contain. You become undeniable, not because rejection didn't come, but because you learned how to rise every time it did. Closed doors don't define your value, they clarify your direction. One of the greatest traps we fall into is allowing closed doors to define our value. We hear no, see an opportunity disappear, watch a dream slip through our fingers, and immediately attach that outcome to our identity. We start questioning our worth, our talent, our calling, as if one person's rejection, one company's decision, or one missed chance holds the authority to redefine who we are. But here's the truth you need to understand on a soul, deep level. Closed doors do not define your value, they clarify your direction. They remove what's not for you so you can focus on what is. They shut out the noise, the distractions, the things that looked good on the surface but lacked the power to elevate you to your next level. And when you stop tying your value to access and instead tie your focus to alignment, you step into a version of yourself that doesn't beg for opportunities. You attract them, because value is not proven by acceptance. Value is proven by essence. It's who you are when no one's clapping, no one's choosing, no one's opening doors. And you keep showing up anyway. Rejection is not the absence of value. It's often the presence of misalignment. A door closes because something behind it wasn't fit to carry your vision. That business partner who walked away, maybe their ambition couldn't carry the weight of your purpose. That relationship that didn't work out. Maybe their presence would have diluted your future. That opportunity that slipped through your hands, maybe the timing would have crushed you, not crowned you. See, you've got to learn how to say thank you for every door that didn't open, because not every room is built for your destiny. And not every platform has the strength to hold your calling. What you perceive as rejection may actually be divine insulation, protection, calibration, because purpose is fragile when it's forming, and premature access can become a premature death of your dream. When a door closes, most people internalize it. I'm not enough. But what if the truth is, this isn't right for me? One statement steals your confidence, the other strengthens your clarity. You have to reframe the story you tell yourself when life says no. Because you are not what you lost. You are not what walked away. You are not defined by the doors that won't open. You are defined by the vision you carry, the integrity you walk with, and the resilience you live by. Closed doors are not rejection. They're revelation. They reveal what doesn't fit, what no longer serves you, what's trying to hold you back while you're called to move forward. And if you dare to trust the rejection, to embrace the closed door with curiosity instead of fear, you'll start to see how every no was heaven's way of clearing your path. You've got to stop treating rejection like a punishment. It's a pruning, it's precision, it's clarity showing up in disguise. Think about how many doors you would have walked through, how many things you would have settled for, if life hadn't closed them for you. There are some relationships you would have stayed in that would have destroyed you slowly, some jobs you would have taken that would have drained your soul, some partnerships that would have distracted you from purpose. But that closed door, that uncomfortable no, that moment of silence after giving your all and still getting overlooked, that was the best thing that could have happened to you. Because it forced you to look higher, dig deeper, and find your next move. Not based on what's easy, but based on what's aligned. Let me be even more clear. Value doesn't fluctuate based on opportunity. You were valuable before they said yes. You were valuable after they said no. Your value is fixed. It's eternal. It's rooted in who you are, not in what others decide. You don't become less just because someone couldn't see your worth. Some people are blind to brilliance. That's not your fault. That's their limitation. You can't let their small vision shrink your big calling. When a door closes, it doesn't mean give up. It means get focused, stop knocking where you don't belong, and start building where you're called. Start aligning your energy with what fuels you. Start walking in purpose so boldly that the doors that open next time don't just invite you in. They were built with you in mind. Closed doors refine your discernment. They teach you how to listen, not just to opportunity, but to intuition, to spirit, to the whispers inside you that say, "This isn't it." Too often, we chase open doors simply because they're open, but not every open door is a blessed one. Some are distractions dressed in opportunity. Some are compromises disguised as next steps. And if you don't have the clarity that rejection brings, you'll walk through the wrong doors, tie yourself to the wrong people, and settle in rooms too small for your destiny. That's why rejection is a gift. It forces you to slow down, to evaluate, to ask the hard questions. Is this in alignment with who I am? Does this push me forward or pull me off track? Am I choosing this from fear or from faith? Because when you know your value, you stop forcing doors, you stop begging for yeses, you stop lowering your standards just to be accepted, you realize you don't need access to everything, you just need access to what's for you. And what's for you won't require you to shrink, it won't require you to beg, it won't make you question your worth. What's for you will stretch you, yes, but it will also support you, grow you, and unlock dimensions of purpose you didn't even know were in you. But to get there, you've got to let go of what's not for you. You've got to stop mourning the door and start moving toward the blueprint. Your direction is more important than your speed, and rejection is a compass. It recalibrates you. It slows you down long enough to realign your intentions with your identity. It keeps you from drifting into environments that aren't designed to sustain your next level. So every time a door closes, ask, what is this teaching me about myself? What clarity can I pull from this? What distractions are being removed? Then thank the door, bless the moment, and move forward, clearer, bolder, lighter, because when you no longer let rejection define you, you become dangerous. You become powerful, you become unshakable, and that's when the real momentum begins. Not because the road gets easier, but because you get clearer, you move with purpose, you walk in power, you stop chasing and start attracting. You stop knocking and start building, and when you do that, the right doors don't just open. They swing open because they recognize the person you've become in the waiting. Not the one who was desperate to get in, but the one who grew strong enough to create doors of their own. Rejection isn't personal, it's positional. There's a lie that too many people believe, a lie that paralyzes their progress, poisons their self-worth, and silences their potential. It's the lie that rejection is personal. That somehow when a door doesn't open, when someone walks away, when an offer falls through, or when your efforts are not acknowledged, it means you are the problem, that your value decreases, that your voice doesn't matter. That your presence is disposable, but let me tell you something once and for all, rejection isn't personal, it's positional, it's not an attack on your identity, it's an alignment of your placement, the no you received wasn't a judgment on who you are. It was a strategic redirection away from where you don't belong and toward where you're designed to rise. It wasn't a blow to your worth, it was a nudge from destiny. And the sooner you stop taking rejection as a personal wound and start seeing it as a positional shift, the faster you'll step into the clarity, power, and favor assigned to your life. See, when you make rejection about your worth, you begin to negotiate with your identity. You start shrinking, you start questioning your gifts, you rehearse every failure like it's your final story. But when you realize rejection is about position, not person, your entire lens changes. You stop asking, what's wrong with me? And start asking, what's next for me? Because there's a powerful truth hiding behind every no. Sometimes the people who reject you can't even see the full picture of who you are. They're evaluating your present, not your potential. They're judging you through their limited perspective, not the limitless power you carry. And their no isn't a prophecy, it's a reflection of their positioning. Some people can't hold your vision because they're standing on the wrong side of it. Some opportunities pass you by because they don't have the structure to support your mission. Some doors shut because behind them is a path that would have led you to small thinking, shallow identity, and short-term success. Rejection isn't personal, it's a pivot. And here's the key. You can't see the elevation in rejection if your ego is still in charge. When you let pride dictate your perspective, you'll treat every no like an insult, every delay like disrespect, every closed door like abandonment. But when you surrender to positioning, when you trust that your path is guided by more than just hustle and ambition, then you'll see rejection as precision. You'll stop forcing fits. You'll stop idolizing validation. You'll stop needing to be chosen just to feel worthy, because you'll understand this. The rejection didn't change your value. It simply changed your venue. You're still called. You're still anointed. You're still needed. But maybe not there, maybe not with them, maybe not in that room, and that's not loss, that's liberation, that's alignment, that's growth. Think about this. What if the job that said no wasn't rejecting your skills, but releasing you from a culture that would have killed your creativity? What if the person who walked away wasn't leaving you behind, but making room for a partner who actually sees you, honors you, and grows with you? What if the opportunity that slipped through your fingers wasn't stolen, but shielded, because it would have distracted you from the deeper work you were born to do? Rejection feels personal in the moment, but wisdom knows it's positioning you for something more. Something that fits, something that fuels, something that doesn't require you to perform or pretend, because it was made for you. And the people who truly rise, the ones who walk in freedom and purpose and power, are the ones who have learned to separate identity from assignment. They don't confuse where they are with who they are. They don't let rejection talk them out of vision. They don't stop creating just because someone didn't clap. They don't back down just because the door didn't swing open. They understand that positioning is a divine strategy, and every detour, every delay, every door that didn't open is playing a role in building the version of them that's ready for next-level access. They know rejection doesn't mean stop. It means shift, it means focus, it means grow stronger, get clearer, walk taller. But let's be real, this kind of mindset doesn't come easy. It's forged in the fires of disappointment. It's born in the late nights when nothing's working, when the emails go unanswered, when your name's not on the list, when the opportunities pass you by. It's shaped in the silence, when you've given your all and still get overlooked. But in those moments, you've got a choice. You can internalize it, or you can interpret it. You can make it about failure, or you can make it about formation. You can carry the weight of rejection as proof that you're not enough, or you can use it as evidence that you're being prepared for something greater than you imagined. Because rejection, when you understand it through the lens of positioning, is not the end of the road. It's the beginning of realignment. That's why you have to stop tying your confidence to consistency and start tying it to conviction. If you're only confident when things go right, your confidence is weak. But if your confidence is rooted in the knowing that no matter what happens, I'm still on assignment, then rejection can't shake you. Because your identity doesn't come from acceptance, it comes from authority. You were born for this, built for this, and no person, no door, no delay has the power to rewrite that. You don't have to chase validation when you stand in vision. You don't have to fear rejection when you trust your position. So here's what you do next. Take your power back, rewrite the story. That door didn't close because you weren't worthy. It closed because you were being rerouted. That no wasn't a failure, it was focus. That rejection wasn't personal. It was placement. You are not here to be tolerated. You are here to take territory, and if that room couldn't see it, couldn't handle it, couldn't hold the weight of your calling, then it wasn't your room. Bless it, release it, move forward, because you are not behind, you're being positioned, you are not rejected, you are being refined, and when the right door opens, it won't require you to shrink, to bend, or to convince. You'll walk through it standing tall, because you've already built the strength in the hallway. Rejection doesn't stop your story, it positions you for the plot twist that makes everything finally make sense. So stop waiting for approval and start walking in alignment. Stop taking it personal and start standing in power. Because rejection isn't the opposite of progress, it's often the doorway to your greatest breakthrough. And you're not being pushed away, you're being placed.